family, those of you who are recognized as such, and those of you who will soon to be recognized as such, welcome to Keeping It Real and Peep Game TV Team Collaboration. I'm your man Shadi Ali, aka SRD, with my man Jay Sean, aka Mr. F Love,
You know it.
on this Thursday, August 27th. So, we're glad, you guys took some time out of your busy day to spend with us. We know you could have been anywhere doing anything, but you chose to spend some of this time with us. And for that, we're grateful.
Yes, indeed.
You dig? So, what's going on with you, my brother?
Same old man. The days is just flying by, man.
Oh,
Like you
today
just said,
definitely is one of
you just said August 27th. I'm like, man,
them.
where is time going, man? Where is time going? But it's like I think I said every week. We just fortunate to still be here and have our health and our strength because a lot of people are sick and a lot of people don't have it.
Absolutely.
So, and I be telling everybody, like, go to the doctor. You know what I mean? You'll be surprised how many people don't want to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But just a visit to the doctor might save your life. You know what I mean? So we gotta go to the doctor, man. I know we don't want to, but we
Yeah,
have.
yeah, yeah. I can dig it. I definitely am not an advocate for taking a bunch of medication. I'm definitely not an advocate of that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I do like going and doing, my annual checkup, check
Yeah.
things out, make sure everything is operating properly. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, you have to.
So yeah, so it's a necessity, especially when you get to where we're at in the age bracket we're at. You know what I mean? You dig? So it's cool for us to stay up on that type of stuff
Yes, sir.
because
I do.
it
I do
you know
my best.
and eat right, exercise, eat right, watch some of this processed food they be putting out that tastes good that's not good for you. So
Man, there's so much stuff in the food and everything. Man, it's just critical right now.
yeah,
I
yeah,
almost I almost wish that I could really like just live off the land. Like raise my well, I mean I could, but raise my own food and just eat that like they used to do back in the days.
well, I mean that's what it's going back to, where it's going to be a necessity to do that, to raise your own food and be able to eat more cleaner, eat more healthier.
I believe that's what we're gonna have to come to, man, because
Yeah.
the food is man, and don't even try to eat fast food. Like you gotta just try to eliminate that from your whole structure.
Eliminate fast food, period. Huh?
Not only is it the food bad, it's the workers too. You know what
Right,
I
right.
mean? They got young kids, and then they got all different kind of people working with the food, and it's just bad right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, they America puts out a lot of regulations, and sometimes the regulations are not adhered to, and sometimes they're not even, helping the situation.
Right.
So I get exactly what you're saying when it comes to that. So all right, without any further ado, brother, let's get into it, man. So
I'm ready.
I believe I asked you last week, so
Yeah.
you can start with me now. Get right into it. Again, you all of you who watching, you can join in on the conversation by dialing 973-460-1610. You dig? So we open to hear from you. Hear
You
some of
got
your
that.
comments. Hear how your week went. Hear what you know looking forward to. Whatever it is, we like
Anything.
to hear from you. Don't
Um,
be don't be afraid either, because we all family here.
yes, indeed. Um, this a good question. I was talking about this with somebody recently,
Oh
but
yeah,
yeah, is is love enough when it comes to parenting?
is love enough when it comes to parenting? When it comes to being a parent, I would say that it's not. I would say love is not enough. Is it helpful? Does it help you in cases? Sure. The reason that I say that love is not enough is based on, in my opinion, people love differently.
Yeah,
And people need to be loved differently. So in many cases, parents may feel like because they love their children, what they're doing are healthy and helpful for their children. And it really may not be. They really and based on a lot of observation of what I've seen throughout the communities, that parents are loving their children with material things. They buying them the hottest games, the hottest sneakers, the hottest clothes. However, what they're missing out on is giving them stability, giving them guidance, and just giving them a chance to be able to open up to them, to be able to communicate and listen to how their children feel and see what it is, what their children would like. So I think until parents, along with children, are able to communicate in a healthy way and be able to truly express how they feel, then the love is not going to be enough. The love, the basic things that a parent normally do for their child is give them food, clothes, and shelter. It says nothing about giving them Versace, giving them Louis Vuitton, you know, Dolce and Gabbana, whatever. It says nothing about Jordans, none of that. Food, clothes, and shelter. However, I think there's a lot of parents, because they work a lot, they're busy, so they try to compensate with items. And these items, yeah, although they may make the child feel okay at the time, but it's not building the proper connections that they would like from the child. Because it doesn't, in my opinion, create a great emotional connection. Yeah, you feel happy. Oh yeah, yeah, you brought me the latest game. You feel happy. However, you're still not sitting down, letting the child know. Asking the child, look, how was your day? What did you go through today? How is school? What are they teaching you in school? Uh, where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years? Those type of conversations, meaningful conversations that can get your children to actually open up and give the parent an idea of what their child actually are aspiring to do. So in my case, no, love is not enough. Is love essential? Yes, it is, but it's not enough in my opinion. What do you think?
it was. I was I was I was kind of tickled for a minute because like that's why I like doing the show because it's real life situations and stuff like that. Like everything you said was pertaining to like my life a little bit. Like I grew up like that. I would grew up where most people probably thought uh, I received a lot of love. I even had a friend, a childhood friend, tell me a couple of years ago who grew up with me. They tell me, man, you had you had a silver spoon. You grew up with a silver spoon. And I said, that's what you think? That's what you thought? Did I grow? I mean, from a kid's point of view, I guess that's what he thought. I mean, I
Right,
guess
absolutely.
I don't know about as an adult, but that's what he said he felt, a silver spoon. And I was like, it was far from a silver spoon because going back to what you said, like in my household, I was given a lot of love from from your parent, but that's the love they think. That's what they think is love. You know what I mean? That's they way of showing love. They way of showing you love might uh, buy you a shirt that you want, but make you come home and do all the laundry and clean up everything and work till the sun go down. That's just an example. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Um, so I could relate to that. I could relate to that. That love is not enough, and love come in like different ways and a lot of different shapes, form, and fashions. And it definitely ain't material things like you said. Like material things. I had a one of my grandkids text me the other day. Text me and asked me could I get him some sneakers for school this year. Now I don't really know much about sneakers because I never was a sneaker person too much. I always wore uh, Air Force Ones or Tims, and the sneakers is $252. Retro fives or something maybe like that. It's in my phone, but
Right.
$252.
And how old is you?
13. Yeah, that's the same thing I did what you just did. I text him, he better send that same text to about five or six more people, and we all go half on it.
Chip in on that. Right.
Hell yeah, 50. I said you better text that same text to about five or six more people until you can break it down to $50 a piece. Then you
Yeah,
could get them. So nah, love is not enough because it's other things, and I'm not blaming no parents or nothing like that because it's no rule book on how to be a parent. You know what I mean? But
absolutely.
I agree with you. I said love is not enough.
Absolutely. I got my grandson here with me.
Oh
He's 20 years old. You know, he's sitting right here listening to us on his phone. You want to holler at the people?
Yeah, what up? How y'all doing?
You hear?
yeah, what he said?
I said, how y'all doing?
Oh, what's good, young man?
So what do you feel about what we were talking about as far as love being enough when it comes to material stuff?
Mm, so everything just not about material, just so the kind.
Okay. Did you hear?
No, I didn't hear him. What did he
Come a little
say?
closer. Come a little closer.
It wasn't him. Somebody was calling me.
Oh, okay.
Everything not about material, just show the kindness from your heart.
You
Yeah,
heard
that's
him?
true. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely, you definitely want affection.
yeah, that's of course.
You know, And that's the most important. Even though you say your grandson was talking about, he talking about some sneakers for 200 and something dollars.
252.
Yeah, yeah, come on, like that's. I mean, when we were younger, shoot, getting a pair of Pro Kids or some Converses was difficult.
That's what I told her. That's what I told his grandmother.
Yeah, and those were what, $25 maybe, fifteen
um,
dollars.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, they was around. Yeah, between 12 and 15, right, or
right.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember. I remember. I had a paper route and I saved up and I bought me some JoJo Whites. They was $22, man. That and that was something.
Right, and that was
My,
doing it big.
yeah, some JoJo Whites, and I remember they was blue and suede with like white stripes, like Adidas on the side, and they was since they was suede, they turned all your socks blue. So, so I used to hate them, man. But I liked it the outside, but they turned they turned your socks blue. I guess that was a factory defect.
Yeah, the dye with the dye in there.
The dye in the sneakers turned your socks blue. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was good. It was good, and it was bad. But yeah, but $252 for some retro fives. I think that's it.
and I never even heard of them. So that lets you know where I'm at with some
I
retro
never
fives.
heard
I'm
of
not
them
even
either.
I'm not even trying to spend no money like that on those sneakers.
On some sneakers.
Yeah. I mean, but different strokes for different folks, and for your parents who cool with it, hey, that's your thing. I ain't mad at you.
Oh yeah, it is some parents. It's them. Some kids gonna have them.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But just be mindful, in my opinion, if you're gonna spend that type of money, let them earn it. Let them do chores around the house. Let them be getting good grades in school. Let them have respectable conduct, that type of thing. So if you get them for them, then they earn them. But other than that, if they lazy, talking back and that type of stuff, you tell them to buy them themselves.
You see, I just told you I had to save up my money and buy my own. I wanted some of them JoJo Whites. I had to save my money and buy my own.
Yeah, yeah, you appreciate it. You
And
appreciate it more.
I was in grammar school too. I was probably 11, 12. I wasn't in high school. I was young.
Right. Yeah. And some of our old cultural ways, in my opinion, we need to bring them back. Some of the parenting
Yeah.
ways that, like, our parents wasn't all wrong. Some of that stuff
No, that wasn't.
some of that stuff helped out, and we need to still apply it nowadays to this generation, because we often say, these children different. Yeah, they are different because they getting parented differently. So that's why they're so different. They're getting, being able to receive something without having to give anything. So what does that teach them? That don't teach them responsibility, nor does it teach them accountability. So
Nope.
the parents, the parenting styles are messing up the children. And it's not that the parents are bad parents. If you don't know, you don't know. So when you learn better, then you strive to do better. That's what that's about.
Yep. That's a
So
fact.
let's get to this next question. Let's open up with something that is currently reshaping the country. Marijuana and gambling are now legal in most states. A, a major culture shift at that. What do you think those two industries, or why do you think those two industries were pushed into legality, and to push to be legal? And do you personally agree with the decision of making them both legal?
Well, the marijuana, I know why they made that legal. They made that legal for tax purposes. I had the numbers, but I don't know what I did with them. Um, the tax on the marijuana from them dispensaries
Right, right.
is like it's way up there in the millions, man. How much money the states is making? Like New Jersey made, I don't remember the numbers, but the numbers is high. How much money they made on marijuana by because they got the taxes on it.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a good idea because it stopped sending people to jail for how people was getting locked up with a joint or people
Right,
was
right.
getting locked up with a nickel bag, and it was saving the people trouble and the courts trouble. So I agree with them making the marijuana legal because I mean it's people who've been in jail going like for life behind marijuana. Kingpins, people getting caught with pounds and pounds. But I believe the reason they did it was more to help the state than the more to help the people that was using it. They said they did it also for medical use, because cannabis is supposed to help with some cancers and cataracts and stuff like that. But I believe they did it more for the tax money. You know what I mean? And now
Yeah.
New Jersey sitting on all this millions and millions of billions. I can't remember how much it was a year that they making. So all in all, I think it was for a good idea. Do I think it was done for the right idea? I wouldn't think so because I don't think this America or this government uh, does anything for the right idea when it comes, for anybody. The gambling, uh, that probably should have never been made legal. Because gambling can't be, you can't say that's for medical use. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can say for that, but it's just the only thing gambling is about is addiction. And people gonna do it whether it's legal or not, but legalizing it made it work. Now they made almost $1 billion gambling for 1 year, 6 times more than marijuana made. Gambling made 6 times more. So that lets you know the severity of that addiction of gambling. You know what I mean? So that maybe should have been kept more concealed in the casinos and stuff. Because you're doing it on your phone now and everything like that. It's too easy. You can play slots on your phone, shoot dice on your phone, play cards on your phone, on your laptop. It's too easy. I think they should have kept that confined to casinos and resorts and things like that. What about you?
Well, definitely with the marijuana, after all the people who were, as you said, that were disenfranchised by it, the problem that I have with it is that a lot of the people who were disenfranchised by it are unable to afford the dispensaries because of the prices that they put on it. They had started off with like $1 million. You had to have, at least in Jersey, that's what they were talking about. You needed like $1 million to, to open it up. So, how many people from the inner city actually had that? And then, then you have people who were so opposed to marijuana who actually had the money to get the dispensaries. Now, all of a sudden, they're not opposed to it anymore because they see the profit. So, it's a double-edged sword for me. It's good in the way that you say that it. decreased some of the individuals who were currently being disenfranchised. However, on the other hand, it didn't really benefit them in the financial aspect. They're still kind of shut out because they're unable to afford the amount that they're asking for to do dispensaries. So
Mm-hmm.
now, as far as the gambling, well, when I think of the gambling, I think of back in the day when the numbers used to be out. That was a form of gambling. You play the numbers,
Right.
you go to the bookie, you play your number, and you hit, you would get the money. So pretty much, I believe the same thing motivated them with making the gambling, as you said, when it came to taxing. Now you get to tax it. Now you get to regulate it. Now you get to control what it is that individuals are doing. Whereas prior to the pickets being taken over, pickets coming out, the numbers were more lucrative for certain cultures, for our culture, I would say. It was quite lucrative. Once the pickets came out, we were supposed to see um, money going towards schools, money going towards recreation and things of that nature. And you have places like, cities like Patterson, Camden, you know, um, Trenton. These places, I don't see it really benefiting these places when it comes to lowering taxes for one, or creating recreation for the young people. So I think it's all a facade to help the government increase their revenue at the people expense. That's what I think. When it
That's
comes to
true.
both of them.
That's
Although,
true.
like I
That's what
said,
I said.
yeah. So basically, we're in agreement when it comes to that.
Yeah, yes, sir. Moving right along. Okay. This is almost like it's almost like a semi trivia. What what are some things that all cultures have in common?
Well, all cultures, in my opinion, we all have behaviors, patterns that we exhibit towards others and towards ourselves that are selfish. Some of them are helpful, some of them are unhelpful, some of them are productive, some of them are counterproductive, some are healthy. Those patterns and behaviors, I would say, that are some of the things that actually separate us. But in reality, I believe if we really looked at each other culturally, it will bring us closer because when it comes to we all working, all cultures got to work one way or another, whether it's opening your own business or it's working for someone else. And you're working for the sake of your family. You want a better life for your family. That's around the board culturally. We all want a better life for our families. We all are willing to work some type of job, some type of way to provide that. Some, do it differently. As I stated, you know, some have their own business. Others, work for are employed by someone else. But the main thing is to put food on the table, pay your bills, and live a pretty decent life. provide a pretty decent life for yourself. So that is culturally. We all, as a culture, love the people that we are part of. And we feel that the people that we are a part of is a special people. We all, in my opinion, we all feel that way. We all want to see the people that we are part of do well for the most part when as a collective. As a collective, you want to see your people rise up. You want to see that. So if we all want to see our people rise up, now as a culture, why don't we want to see all cultures rise up and apply some of the things that we apply to our own culture within, where we, want to stick together. We want to help certain people in our culture or certain people that we're close to. Why don't we apply that when it comes to all cultures, where we put something together where we all strive to improve each other's life, living conditions, safety. We all want to be safe. Nobody wants to come out of the house and have to be ducking from bullets. Nobody wants anybody kicking their door in, stealing what they've worked so hard for. So I think, we have more in common than we actually have in differences. Sure, we speak different languages. Sure, we have different dialects. Sure, we eat different foods. Sure, we like different musics. However, we can all agree that there's some foods that we all like. There's some music that we all like, that we all agree to. You know, there's sports. I mean, across the board, most cultures like football, basketball, baseball. So I think it's good for humanity for us to really start focusing on our similarities and stop being led by our differences, where we could be able to unify not just culturally as a people, but as humanity. And even when it comes, because one thing I would like to say about us as a people. Now, what I'm uncomfortable with is when it comes to governing, I'm just not so comfortable with being governed by another people that call us the minority. That's the uncomfortable thing for me. I believe all people would like to govern themselves, us included. But a lot of times we say, oh, it's being racist if we want to govern ourselves. How can it be racist when we are in a country that the house that's supposed to represent all the people is called the White House? It's not called the People House, and the majority of the people who run it are considered European, aka white, the majority. So it's not, and when it comes to this country, it's what about of us? About 400 million of us, something like that.
Yeah, give or
So
take.
yeah, so if it's 400 million of us, that should be reflected in the government. And if it's not, then in my opinion, we need to have our own government, and then we deal with America's government through our government. So, and what do you think as a people? Those of you who are of the same culture of the government that we have in hand, what do you think? How would you like for us to have our own government and you can interact with our government and our government write laws for you guys? How would you feel about it? So that's something to think about. Call 973-460-1610. And I'm gonna end with that. But what do you think as far as our
It's that's I guess to find something that all cultures have in common. I mean, I guess it would be, the main thing is like far as that everybody gotta everybody gotta strive to live and make it. But the things I would think it would be more things that would be uncommon um between people cultures because say you got the Jewish people, you got the Italians, um, Germans. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm qualified. I don't know if I know what they might have in common with each other. But I know it's like what you said about each government making their own rules for for their um for their cultures or their what's the word for that?
the best interests of their
You
people?
know, their people. Yeah, yeah. So I think that's a good idea. Well, I know that's a good idea. But then would it helps one culture and hurt another culture? I always had a problem with having so many like different um elected like mayors and senators and governors, and it's too many minds and too many decisions and too many brains. I know the president's supposed to be the boss over everything, but I just think it would be better another way. I don't know. I don't have the answer to it, but with so many different mayors and congressmen and council people and governors and senators and the elected officials and Democrats and Republicans and liberals, and it's just too it's just too much, man. You know what I mean? So I think that's the problem. That's the problem with me finding things that's in common among cultures. That's my problem with that. With so many people ways of thinking and so many people ideas and the way they do things, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to find things that everybody is in common with. I mean, except for living and providing for yourself. You know what I mean, and things like that. I wouldn't know too many things that different cultures have in common. If I'm answering the question right, if that's what
Yeah,
you mean, I'm not sure. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Like for example, I'm pretty sure most cultures are uncomfortable with the gas prices.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Most cultures are uncomfortable paying them gas prices. Most cultures, depending on the age bracket, as you stated before, are uncomfortable with the food prices and the quality of some of the food. Where you
Right,
have so many different ingredients in the food, as a as a people, as humanity, we would like to eat the healthiest stuff. Yeah, we want to. Most people want to eat stuff that tastes good.
right,
However, being mentally sound, even though you want to eat foods that taste good, you're not trying to just do it and just eat the most unhealthiest food. because you're looking for something that tastes good. So I think we all can agree with certain things when it comes to, as you said, living, surviving, functioning
Yeah,
as a being, as an earthly being, you know. So I think that's where we have a commonality as earthly beings. We got our own flaws, we got our own strengths, you know, we got our own fears, our own doubts, and all of these things. So we all share these type of emotions. We all share emotions. We all share this land. We all share this country. You know, so there's a lot of things that we share, and I think, you know, when it, as you said, when it comes to the differences, is I don't think we have enough meaningful conversations with different cultures so that we can really
yeah,
get to
that's
know
fair.
each other. See, you know,
Yep.
where, you know, me being a Muslim, the Quran says, you know, Allah made us different, not to dispute with each other, but to get to know each other. You know, so the difference is, okay, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know, you know, why you eat the way you eat, why you talk the way you talk, why you think the way you think. These are things that I want to get to know about other cultures. I think that's one of the things that we kind of take for granted, really getting to know other cultures, really getting to talk to each other about, you know, everyday life, how we see things, what would we like to see better in our communities. If we share in neighborhoods and we share in communities, why aren't we having real meaningful conversations that would help make the communities better for all of us, rather than just trying to make the community better for our nationality of people. Now, there's nothing wrong with, you know, putting your nationality first. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't disagree with any nationality that put their nationality first. However, we share in land, we share in neighborhoods, we share in this, you know, this land, as I said. So why not share in how we can make it better for each other? That's just, you know, that's just my view.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so all right, now let's bring it a little closer. You know, we talk a lot about community, unity, as we were just talking about, and culture. But the reality doesn't always match the language. Why do you think it's so difficult for people within our culture, to genuinely support each other?
That's the $1 million question. Um, I think that somewhere along the line, I don't know where, because I think about as we grow up as kids, and when you a kid, you don't really know about racism and prejudice and
Peace,
racism,
peace.
and the older you get, you see that you might be a little different. You know what I mean, from people, but I don't. I believe it's about. I believe it's about what's inside of you. I don't believe it's just a whole nation of people or a whole culture like that. I believe that's an individual thing that maybe have rubbed off on another individual. You know what I mean? Because what makes one person jealous of the next person? What makes one person hate the next person? What makes one person want what another person have? I think it's something individual. I think it's something that has to do with within yourself that makes you like that. Because I could sit up here and say, well, I'm not jealous of this person, or I don't want what that person want. You know what I mean? But the next person could come up here and say, oh, he don't deserve that, or I should have that. I should have that car, or I should have that house, or I should have that woman, or that that watch or something like that. It's something. I think it's something within the individual. I don't want to just tag a whole culture, but I mean, it seems like it, but because we don't really support each other, but I think it's in the person. I think it's in the heart. What about you?
I think, see, because when we grew up in a time, we grew up in a time where we actually seen support culturally. We actually seen that. We
Yeah,
actually experienced cultural support. So if we grew up and we actually saw it, then we know it exists. We know it existed, and
right.
there are other states where you actually still see it. Georgia being one of them. You still see the support that we do culturally, and you still see, as you said, with clusters of people that support each other. So it's just we're not doing it in a way as much as I guess you and I and some others would like to see it being done collectively. So it's something that I think is necessary to be worked on. I think it requires some work. It requires, as we grew up, more examples. Remember, we grew up in a time, and this is no, nothing against our Latino brothers and sisters or our Asian brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Our Asian family, or even our Bangladesh or our Arab family. We
White.
uh, and well, of course, without saying, the Europeans that
Yeah.
they it's no it's nothing against them. Our culture has grown up. The present culture, the young people in our culture, present young people in our culture, have grown up putting their money in those cultures' hands. So if you grew up putting your money in those cultures' hands, it has become normalized. They have normalized it as, well, this is what you do. You give other people your money for services. Where we grew up in a time where we were putting our money in people who we shared a culture with, and that was the norm. That was the norm. Most of these people that I mentioned, they do the same thing. They put their money in people from their culture. They don't come bring us their money. We are probably one of the few who spreads our money out to all different cultures rather than keep it in house. And then those who want to share and do business with us, we share and do business with them. Whereas if we're putting it in their pocket and they're not putting anything back in our pocket, we're ending up taking care of other people's family or other cultures more so than we are taking care of our own culture. And then I think, in my opinion, I think people enjoy taking our money. However, to some degree, it causes them to look at us differently, to wonder with the question, why culturally we don't, do more for ourselves. and connect more with ourselves. So so as a culture, as a family, it's time for us to start doing so. You know, it's no longer we no longer have the excuse that we are unable to do it because it's been done. If it was impossible for us to do it, then we never would have saw it. But because our generation is the one that's seen it, we have to be the one the generation that brings it back. We have to be the one who shows them that it's okay to support ourselves. You know, it's okay for that. And if a culture doesn't like that, then that's their problem. That's their problem because we share our wealth with other cultures, even though we don't get it shared back in our favor. And that's why with the other question, I'm saying, look, we got things in common. We all want to be able to take care of ourselves. We would like to do business with other cultures. We don't want to just be giving other cultures our money. We want to be doing business. They give us money, we give them money. They provide service for us, we provide services for them. That's what humanity is, in my opinion.
That's true.
So we got about 9 minutes. Got another question.
Um, uh, um, when did we go from calling ourselves gods, earths, and queens to calling ourselves bitches, hoes, dogs, and ops?
That's a good question. And I would like to say that that happened, I want to say, in the 90s. 70s and 80s, we were, the late 70s, we got into the gods and earth. Pretty much the majority of the 80s, we were gods and earth. Crack era hit, kind of, started dismantling things, in the mid to late 80s. By the 90s, it had taken over. It was still going strong. However, in my opinion, where the dog became really popular and the bitches and the hoes, and this is my opinion. When the West Coast, Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound, when they came out, you know, it that dog thing exploded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And and even with the music, I never give a fuck about a bitch. You know what I mean? Ain't no fun, my homie can't have none. So that
Yeah.
music contributed, and not to say it during that time, it was good music to us. It's good music. We enjoyed the music. I had the album. I played it heavy. So I'm not. I promoted it. However, not realizing that it was going to create a mindset where we started looking at each other differently and addressing each other in those manners that we were just partying, having fun doing. It spinned over into like a way of life after a while. You know what I mean? You calling each other that, and then it flipped over to the ops. And so I think those 90s and then up to the 2000 on up to now, that it got us to the point where we are now. And because remember, a bitch ain't nothing but a female dog. You know what I mean? So the guys calling themselves dogs, we call them women bitches. So we went from gods and queens to just dogs. Now it's like we went backwards. We were one way, but we went to backwards because if you spell God backwards, it spells dog. You know what I'm saying? So So now we wondering why we are so discombobulated and all over the place is because we started recognizing ourselves backwards rather than recognizing ourselves as what we truly are and gods and earths. We're representing God on earth and the women on earth because they give life to the planet. They give life to the children. They're the queens because they maintain the kings. They maintain the castle. So I think, you know, again, because we have witnessed the other side, it's our responsibility and we need to hold ourselves accountable to bring those things back to the young people so that these things could be implemented back, not only in our culture, but to those who follow our culture to start looking at us in a more healthier way. You know, that's my opinion. What do you think?
Uh, I think it came in like you said. I agree. It came in with the West Coast. I think it was a little bit before Snoop and them. Though I think it started with NWA. Um, I believe they really put it on the map. They put it on. They brought it to the the surface, and Snoop and them just exploded with it. You know what I mean? And having uh they start having uh different old pimps in their videos, and and they started talking like that. Then it migrated to the new over here to the East Coast, and then they started using it, um, and it just took off because I really don't really remember it too much before the West Coast started with that music. They even started the gangster rap. You know what I mean? So that was a whole cultural thing over here that just caught on and just went all over the world because, like you said, we was still calling females queens into the 80s, queens and gods and earths. What's up, queen? That's how we addressed it, women. It seems so long ago, right?
Yeah, peace, Queen.
What's up, queen? Peace, queen. What's up, queen? Peace, queen. Yo, what's going on, queen? And now listen how the young generation talk. Like they say the word bitch, and then the young females answer to it because they say it says so much. So it came a long way from gods and earths and queens to bitches and hoes and dogs and ops. So I agree with you. It had to change somewhere in the '90s. It had maybe the early '90s, early '90s. Um, yeah, yeah, the early '90s. Cause through the '80s, we still was into lessons and all that, and I was listening to somebody talk, and they was talking about how proud we was when we was young to have knowledge of self. You know what I mean? How strong it made you feel uh, to have knowledge of self and the know and understand the lessons we had. It made you feel strong. It made you feel proud. It gave you a sense of something. You know what I mean? It made us want to learn, and that because that made learning cool. Because before that, we really wasn't into it like that until um, the 5 percenters came out. We got knowledge of self. Then we wanted to learn the lessons, and we wanted to be able to manifest it and talk to each other like that. We had our own language. We had our own names. We didn't use our government names anymore, the slave names. We had our own name. We gave ourselves or was given um, our names, and then we just learned so much. It just was a different time. We learned about the original black man, like you said, the queens and the earths and everything. Just a whole different time, and I wish it could come back,
Well,
but
I believe we are the only ones that can bring it back because we are the ones that know about it. So it wouldn't make sense to expect the younger generation to bring it back. We would like for them to continue it once we bring it back, because we are the ones who have knowledge of it. So it makes sense for us to bring that back. And we've been preserved fairly well. So what why
right,
why were we preserved fairly well? And in my opinion, for that reason, to bring back the knowledge, wisdom, and inner and understanding back to our community, back to the world. So to uplift humanity, to uplift ourselves. I think that's our duty. What was it? Our duty was to civilize the uncivilized. So that still applies. So
yeah,
we didn't learn that for nothing. We just got away from it due to where we were at those times in life and the everyday struggles. So now that we've come to a different time and a different uh, journey, now we have the ability to bring those things back, in my opinion. You dig? So
yeah.
it's about that time. So we about that time. So let the people know where they can see you at, brother.
Um, Tomorrow night I'll be on TikTok live and Facebook live at 10 o'clock. You back to the usual time. Last week I was earlier, but I'm back to 10 o'clock p.m. on TikTok live and Facebook live, doing the Keeping It Real show. Tune in, and we have some fun tomorrow night. What you got
Okay.
going on?
Um, Now, where you were speaking on, how we were talking about how we were learning and we were so proud to be learning. I spoke about, wrote about that in the book, wrote about where we were
Oh yeah,
those who
yeah, yeah,
didn't
yeah.
carry books home started reading. You know what I mean? We was a whole culture didn't even carry books home, but now you got individuals who didn't carry books home. Now they reading lessons. So reading was encouraged through, becoming a 5%er. So that encouraged, and I wrote about that. And on top of that, those who may have had a little, difficulty purchasing the book for $25, now shortly, very shortly, in a couple of weeks, it'll be in ebook form for $9.99. So I
Mm.
think that's much more affordable. And I think a lot of you, especially you younger people, like to, deal with those ebooks. So you guys can get it and put it on auto ebook and, listen to it. So,
Yeah,
and, I, and I'm, I'm pretty
it's
sure
cool
you'll
too.
enjoy it.
That's cool. The audio thing is cool. I got a membership for that on
Right.
online.
So you can
Yeah,
get
it's
the
really cool.
ebook and then connect the audio to it, right?
It's cool. Yeah, it's really cool listening to an audio book. Somebody reading it to you. You know, because you could do so much. You could be at home. You could be at work. You could be driving. You could be walking.
Right.
Whatever you do, you know what I mean, and you just listen to it, and you can stop it when you want and start it when you want. I have listened to tons of books
Yeah.
already, tons of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's much better like that. I forgot the name of the app. I think it's called Bugle or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But
So you guys, the
probably
book is out. An ebook will be coming out shortly. You can more than likely be able to get it tomorrow from Book Baby.
a
You should
book
be able to
baby.
get it from Book Baby tomorrow. But prior to that, Kindle, the rest of them, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, and all the others, it'll be within a couple of weeks. And the name of the book, the title of the book, is From Hustler to Businessman. And again, we appreciate you, and we should be having our show. We apologize for last week, wasn't able to have the show, but hopefully this week we should be able to have the show, the 17th Ave Family Live podcast. Hopefully we'll be able to have it. Things have been coming up, got a lot going on. We're working on some stuff, so we haven't been able to be as consistent as we like. But we appreciate y'all's support whenever we do come on and you guys support us. So until next week,
Who hold up, who did the audio book? Who reading it?
it,
You?
it wasn't the audio. I didn't. It's not audio. It's the ebook. But the ebook, once it's in the ebook, you can connect audio to it.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
it's
All
yeah,
right. That's
it's
cool.
ebook form. It's ebook form, but
Okay.
they got apps now that if you have it in ebook form, you can use an app to turn it into audio. So right now it's just the
That's
ebook,
cool.
$9.99. Those who read the ebooks, they know exactly what it is because I've been hearing a lot of the 20-something-year-olds, probably the 20s to maybe like the 30 somethings, you know, those are the ones who like the ebooks. 20s and the
Yeah.
30s, they like the ebooks. I'm not sure about the 40s and 50s, but the 20s and 30s, those are the ones who, from my observation, like the ebooks. And if they like the ebooks, I'm pretty sure they know how to get it to turn it on to audio so they can listen to it. So then again, the book is called From Hustler to Businessman. And it's been a pleasure, spending the time with you. And thank you all for taking the time to spend with us. Until next week, love yourself,
Next week,
respect
baby.
yourselves, and be good to yourself and each other. Peace.
Peace.